welcome back to Nothing But A Podcast with me, your host, Giles Thomas, here at the On The Rise Media Studio. And we're, of course, joined by 8-time Mr. Olympia, the GOAT, Ronnie Coleman, and very special guest, Milos Sarcev. Milos, Ronnie, thank you for joining us.
Hi, guys. Hi, Ronnie.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, I'm delighted to be on your podcast. And, I was thinking, like, how long do I know Ronnie? And then I went back in the memory. Since 1991, right?
Yeah. Hong Kong. Hong Kong?
Hong Kong, exactly. That's the first time I've seen you. Because you competed at the Nationals in USA that year, and you didn't place that well, but then you went to the World Championship and won.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I remember going with you, Flex, JJ Marsh, Frank Hillebrand. There was like a bunch of us going, and I'll never forget this. The first time I actually see you was in a gym. You were doing a seated dumbbell overhead extensions with 100 pounds. 100-pound dumbbell.
What?
Listen. So it was like instantly, oh my God, he's like just absolute freak. But listen, I'm so happy to be a part of your podcast.
Yeah, thank you for being on.
I mean, do you know something I realized actually the other week from your Instagram, Milos? I thought Ronnie Coleman's first pro show was the 1992 Mr. Olympia, but it wasn't, was it? It was earlier in the year, wasn't it, Milos?
Yeah, actually, that was the times when I could still beat Ronnie. In 1992, we competed in Chicago. That was your pro debut, right?
Yeah.
Chicago 92, and then Night of the Champions.
Yeah.
And we went to Finland for Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that was humble beginnings for Ronnie, but you could see. I mean, I don't know if you can speak openly about it in this podcast, but fact, being natural for years. I mean, he competed probably in about 15 IFBB pro shows for years, qualified for Mr. Olympia, natural, but people would not want to believe it. Right? So, Ronnie, I'm going to remind you of this one. I don't know if you remember this one. You beat me in 95 in Canada, and I still think that at that time you were still drug-free. In '96, we competed at Canada. You won. You beat the Flex.
Yeah.
And then we went to Florida, and we were in this tight stage. and I asked you, I said, Ronnie, if you still tell me you're drug-free, I'm going to push you off the stage. You remember? And you were laughing. I said, no more. Okay, so that's my recollection of us competing back then. And really, I'm going to ask you for this opinion also. 1996. Now, when you look back at the Mr. Olympia tapes, you placed sixth only, but there was the moments you were standing right next to Dorian, winner of the show, and I was like, okay, wait a second, compare. I really think that even in '96, if they gave you a better look, you could have placed higher. Then 97, again, you placed like 9th, I was 10th.
Yeah.
So you were always like there, but nobody really realized, okay, this is the guy that could be dominating.
No, I snuck up on everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but going into that the 96 Olympia, I'm just curious, because this is already, I just posted that video from Florida backstage when you were there with Vicky Gates, and just relax. I mean, there was monster. This is the monster that we all got to know later, but you were that monster back in '96.
Yeah, I was pretty big back then too. Like I said, I got sick that year, and I think you had told me something about when I stood next to Dorian, I looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Somebody had something to me about it.
Yeah, this is no joke, and really, then '97, going with you to European Grand Prix Tour, and I mean, again, a lot of people don't realize that we do have a 6 shows in 6 different countries in a matter of like a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, that was 7. That was 7 shows
7 shows that year.
in
Okay.
11 days.
And yeah, you won that last one in Russia. I remember very well because in you know how they go. Judges usually copy Mr. Olympia placing. So first show was in Hungary.
Yeah.
And again, like you were 6, I was 7. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And Chris Cormier was even behind us. The next day, Chris beat Nasser somebody in England. And Nasser was second at the Olympia, right?
I was there.
Yeah.
And
I was there.
You start getting into the picture. But people don't realize, I mean, there was much closer. There was actually competition. And they worked us. They gave us so many comparisons back in the day.
Yeah.
But you could see Ronnie coming, and at the Russian show, it was all over. I really think that after that Russian show, nobody could deny you anymore.
Yeah, I was pretty much nonstop after that.
Yeah. there is a one show you lost after the Russia. You remember that one? There was 98. San Francisco. Yeah, exactly.
One.
Yeah, that's the only show that you lost after that one.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So do you know how many times you actually competed against each other? Have you ever done a tally, Milos?
No, I have no idea. I have really no idea. It's just like, you know how it is. When you can say that in your career you had a victory over Ronnie Coleman, this is spectacular. Doesn't matter that he was natural for like 5 years that he competed. You know, but no, it was actually no contest. I mean, you know, I do remember that one. In 95 Houston, I beat you.
Yeah.
And then in Canada next week, you beat us all, and that's when you start really moving up in placing.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. I mean, Ron and I've been on many tours. We've been to Barcelona, you know, guest posing and all kinds of stuff. But European Grand Prix tours were always the best. And listen, Ronnie was always super strict, and I was, you know, quite strict because I thought that the only way that I can sneak up on somebody, you know, they're gonna like Lee Priest, he's gonna start eating a cheesecake and everything else, right? So I could pass by him. But you kept your diet constantly.
Yeah.
Except that you brought something new to the Russian Grand Prix. I heard the story with you and Kevin. You had vodka.
Yep. That was Kevin. I didn't bring that. Kevin brought that.
But this is the only time you used it?
Yeah, that was the only time I used it.
Yeah, actually, I have to say this about Kevin. You know, Kevin, every time when he was in my gym, Coliseum gym, and said, "Hey, can I get you something?" The only thing that he always asked me is martini.
Martini.
Serious. Yeah, so he is known for that. But listen, as you know, Kevin is one of the best ever. You guys clashed so many times. I'm sure that you have a greatest respect for Kevin.
Oh yeah.
Also, he is uncrowned Mr. Olympia.
So,
Yeah.
Sorry, so Ronnie, what year was it when you had the Roman photo shoot with Milos and Kevin? Where was that and what year?
That was 99.
99.
Yeah.
Olympia. After the Olympia, they was on the tour. We did a tour every year, you know.
Yeah. There was only 2 shows.
Yeah. After like 98, you know, when Wayne left, you know, it kind of faded out a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Wayne left. It really faded out when Wayne left, actually. We used to have used to have like 5-6 shows every year, and then after like 98, 99, it went down to like 2 shows.
Yeah.
Lucky to get 3.
Do you remember
You see, Jarvis, you know that I competed pretty much in every show. I started that trend, but then you know, Ronnie started going on every show. Like, God damn.
Do you think you both were at your peak around the 99 British Grand Prix? Because that was, You had Kevin Avrone, Flex Wheeler at 256. You were looking the biggest you'd ever looked in 99, Milos. You had Nasser, Marcus Rule. Would you say that was when you were both kind of really peaking in your career?
Well, for me, yeah, that was my biggest and probably best, even though I liked my 97 version, but I was just not big enough, so I was not competitive, right? So to be competitive, I mean, stepping on the stage with Ronnie, Flex, Kevin, Nasser, Marcus, right? I had to be big, so for that Grand Prix tour, I said, okay, let me just see how far I can be. But at my biggest, I have that video standing next to Ronnie, and I look like a little kid. And it was ridiculous. When you're proud of, like, whoa, look at that. I was 255 on the stage. And then I've seen a video, me alone, and I said, man, I look huge. And here it is. Ronnie stands next to me, and I disappeared. But Ronnie, okay, 98 Olympia. I was in a locker room with you. At the pre-judging, before the pre-judging, actually, you know how we always look each other. I mean, you didn't look super shredded or dry. By the end of the pre-judging, when we came back to the same locker room, I don't know if you remember, I asked you, I had to actually touch your hamstring, and because it was dry as a bone. It was like nothing, like metal. Do you remember that? 1998, beginning of the Olympia, you were not in running, not first, second, third, fourth call out.
Nope.
Yeah, Giles, you are a historian, so you remember. But I remember very well because he was not contender. And then Ronnie started coming in and started getting harder. And by the end of the pre-judging, there was already a clear winner. Even though at the time, Flex was such a huge favorite, nobody would count on Ronnie being able to beat him.
You should have, you thought I looked bad the morning of 98. You should have saw the night before.
You told me.
I completely smoothed out completely.
Yes.
I had no cuts, none.
I remember that very well.
You said it.
Yeah.
Overcalled.
Yeah, you spilled over, and I remember the other thing that after taking the diuretics, you were cramping up like crazy. You thought you were gonna have to go to the hospital.
I didn't cramp that bad that morning though.
No, the night before, Friday.
Oh no, I didn't cramp. I didn't cramp at all the night before. You know why? I didn't have any diuretics in.
Really? I mean,
none.
I do remember because you were telling me like, you didn't think even you could compete. But that was 98.
98, yeah, 98. I took. Chad gave me something in a cup. he never told me what it was.
I know. This is.
I started like it was like midnight. Right before I went to bed, he gave it to me.
Yeah. Yes.
And I thought I was done. I just, oh well, another 19th place if I'm lucky. And I started going to the bathroom right like 1, 2 in the morning. When I woke up that morning, I didn't even look in the mirror because I was so depressed about what I saw the night before.
Yeah.
So I had no idea how I looked. And every time I went past the mirror, I wouldn't even look at myself. I was still depressed. I didn't even know how I looked when I got on stage.
Yeah.
So when they wasn't calling me out, I was like, okay, yeah, here we go again. I didn't get called out to like I think it was third or fourth call out.
Fourth, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, here we go again. I'm back at 9th, 10th place.
Yeah, well, let me tell you.
Like I say, I think I started getting harder as I posed.
Yes, it was crazy. I think that conditioning for me was my all-time favorite for you.
Yeah,
2001 Arnold Classic, yes. You were also phenomenal, but I think that 98 Olympia conditioning, nothing beats that.
No, nothing. That's all. That's what I always say.
So Milos, do you not prefer the 2003 mega freak look?
For me, yeah, that's what we talk about. And now I want to say this in front of Ronnie. Okay. Who would you give victory if on the same stage was 98, 99, or 2003 Ronnie Coleman?
I always go back to 98.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said this many, many times. You know, listen, you were big enough. And symmetry, proportion, aesthetics, definition, cuts, dryness, conditioning, everything was off the chart. So I agree with him, you know. So, but I also know the way you train and to build muscle, to be the best in the world, and just push the envelope more and more and more. But that brings that picture. Is bigger always better? So we heard from the horse's mouth. He believes that 98 Ronnie Coleman would be 2003 version. Giles, we had that argument before, right?
We did. I do like the 99, but for me, I would either choose 99 or 2003 over 98. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just think the 99, you were wider. Your shoulder to waist was just even more pronounced. Your hamstrings were improved. But I just love that 2003 look. I can't imagine the shock of everyone backstage when you were walking to the stage, or when you hit that first pose and the audience response when you were 40 pounds heavier than in 2002 when I was at that one. But I just can't imagine the audience reaction when they, like in Dorian in 93, when people were seeing something they'd never ever seen before.
Yeah. Well, we've seen the preview because Ronnie would come for photo shoots in Coliseum Gym.
Yeah.
And that one winter.
Yeah.
I think this is the freakiest I have ever seen you in my life. And this is when I don't know if I told you, if you listened to one of my interviews, Jake Cutler was right next to me when you walk in. And when you walk in through that door, there was like eclipse, like, you know, lights were shut, you know, you blocked the light. And he looked at you and he just goes, a fucking freak. And that was it. That was it. He lost that contest there. And you know how Gunther, you can erase the smile off his face, especially because he beat you in that GNC show a year before. Yeah. So he was really counting on beating you again. Before you came in, he was like, also like, as soon as you came in, that smile was gone forever.
Hey, I remember that photo shoot like it was yesterday.
Yes. Okay. Well, but here is another thing, because I want to say this. I texted you like about 3-4 months ago. If you use a Pro-10 for the show, and you say, yeah, you always did.
Yeah.
Because here, you maybe don't remember this, 2002, Amsterdam. I was there with Chris Cormier, and we picked you up at the airport.
Yeah.
And then we were driving to the hotel, and then Chris asked you, hey, Ronnie, you have a Pro-10. And you say, Pro-10? Why would I have Pro-10? Hell no, I was born with it. I swear to God, that's what you said. So I figure out, because shit, Ronnie's never used it. That's why, you know, I asked you, I texted you, because I just wanted, because what I remember, you didn't use it. You know, and then I do remember also, like, back when we competed 90 Finnish Grand Prix and whatever else, and backstage, you take your clothes off, you had all kinds of like white goddamn cream something. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. So there's like no way that you can put the cream on your body if you have a Pro-10. So really, I didn't think that you had, but now that you said, oh, well, you know, I guess I just didn't realize. You probably didn't want to share it with Chris. I was second on that show.
I was just messing around with Chris. I was just giving him a hard time. But I used it. I had to get the show. I had to get Marcus Rule to put it on my back one time for me.
Yeah.
I
didn't know.
He sent his wife to do it, though. He wouldn't do it.
about to take this workout to another level. Let's go. About to take it to another level. Let's go.
Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on blingin' she freeze. Photo, please. No photos. No. G's. No. Please. No photos. Hit the door and the domain just whole team here might need some. Still young, but I move like a new deal to my lawyer. If you're down in my management, I'm just warming up. Wait till I old producers saw the numbers one. Different colors in my baggy light. Chalk it up, talk of the town where you're talking up. Wanna get you a ring and you tough enough. Wanna get you new things with your pockets dull. Run it up. I used to be quiet and out of luck. Now I move up and move humble cause the hate and the jealousy. My mama telling me count up your blessings and run it up. Nowadays nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's I got wifey on.